we got the Bronco bed lined. We got it painted, cut and buffed. We bed lined inside here last night. Kind of went through that there. So we're just kind of cleaning it, untaping everything. Went ahead and threw the fenders on it so that it was just kind of consolidated a lot of the painted nice parts into one pile, so to speak. And then we are wet sanding on the doors. I don't have the hinges yet, so I don't know what we're going to do with the doors. Might just put a blanket down and set them in here. I'll give this probably another few hours. Probably tomorrow morning I'll put that in there. It's about 1 o'clock today. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of wet sanding the door. And I've got a couple shots of me doing that before, but what we'll do is we'll start with 1,000 grit sandpaper. Basically I use 3M's 1,000. You know, there's some different kinds of sandpapers and different brand stuff, but I know 1,000 3M is 1,000 3M. Kind of sticking the 3M 1,000 to 1,500, and we'll go out to 2,000, and then we're gonna run over it with a wool pad. We'll go back over it with a foam pad to take out the wool mark swirls, and then probably hit it with the ultra fine pad. And I'm gonna use these 3 pads with this compound, which is a 36060, and then we'll go back over it with their swirl mark remover. This says step 3, but I don't really know. To be honest with you, I don't really know the difference, the different steps they have. 3M's got quite a bit of different stuff. This is kind of what I have for swirl mark remover. I've used McGuire's a few times, and this is what I've got for my heavy cut. I do really like this. I can go from this pad to this pad to this pad, or even a yellow foam pad. Polish it all the way out. This will keep polishing, keep polishing, keep polishing all the way out until it's really shiny. And basically what I do is I come back with a ultra fine pad with the swirl mark remover. That seems to do a pretty good job. So basically what I'm trying to do when I'm wet sanding is knock any, we call it orange peel. So if you picture looking at an orange, it's got kind of a texture to it, and that's what they call orange peel. So you can kind of see, my camera will pick that up. Basically what I'm trying to do is look at one of these light sources here or there, and you can kind of see reflection of the lights, and you can kind of see a little bit of an orange peel to that. I don't know if my camera really picked that up or not. So what we do is when we wet sand it, we want a nice flat, smooth surface. There's no orange peel. Start with 1,000. I've got 3 coats of Glaser at 109 clear, so it's a pretty thick clear, good quality clear. I started on that Monday, so we let it sit for a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, today's Thursday, so 4 days. This isn't fingerprinting, but I know it's pretty soft. You can tell by the way it's sanding, but it will polish really nice. So what we'll do is we'll get some fresh water in my bucket. I'm just using a little gallon jug that I literally cut out with a razor blade, and then I'm using a soft pad. You can use a hard block, but the problem with hard block is that if you were to sand, so you're sanding this way and you stop and you went straight across, it's going to leave a pretty big groove. Where this is nice and rounded, where it won't dig in like something with a hard edge. Now there's tons of different blocks out there. On this one, I'm just particularly using this block here. And it does kind of curve after a while, so I like to just wrap my sandpaper basically in half. Literally that right there. Since there's nothing on there, dip in here. And when I wet sand, I like to go X's one way and then come back this way. And you can see once that dries, take my pad and use it like a squeegee. Let that dry for a minute. You can see I'm saying an orange peel here. If my camera will pick it up, let's see where we're knocking down some of that orange peel. Let's see where Basically, the idea is to get rid of all the shine and make it all flat and dull. Do that with 1,000, and then we come back with 15. Cut the 1,000 grit out, and then hit it with 2,000, and we cut the 1,500 grit scratches with the 2,000. So, and then we'll jump to a wool pad, polish it, and then work our way through our compounds, finer, and then hit it with a swirl mark once we get to our black foam pad with the 60/60. Then we'll come back with our swirl mark remover, hit it with the blue wool pad. So we're going to go get some fresh water and then we'll get to buffing. Sure we can see that or not. It's just a little bit of shine. Got a couple just little like areas there where the clear is not knocked down all the way, but it's looking pretty good. You know, that way might be a little bit better compared to how orange peely that is. So this is 1,000. This is 1,000. I haven't sanded this yet, so we'll go back over this with 1,000. And those little tiny shiny spots, if they'll pick up or not, is part of the orange peel down at the bottom. Will come out. We're gonna hit this with 1,500, so it should be enough to knock those out. And then I would sand with 1,500. I just like how flat and fast. I would cut the whole thing with 1,500. 1,000 grit cuts faster and flatter than the 1,500. I'd rather take out 1,000 grit scratches with 1,500 than try to take out orange peel with 1,500. So, and the 2,000 is just taking it to the next step, a little bit finer sanding scratches, where the compound has an easier time removing the scratches. You could go out to 25 down it. You could go out to, they may call it to 5, so I think they make it 7,000 grit, which at that point you wouldn't even need a compound. You probably just could just polish it, but they kind of like 1,000, 15 and 2, and then, or 2,500. I'm doing 2, and then the extra compound seems to work pretty good for me. So going to go back on, I just wanted to show you that difference between the sanded and non-sanded, and then we'll take this again. I'll say, like I was saying earlier, we'll go 15, and we'll go ahead and sand this out to 2,000, 1,000, 15, and 2, and then we will start the fun of polishing. So we got that all wet sanded out with 1,000, 15, and then 2,000. Now we're going to move on to our buffing, but what I was going to show you was on something like this where we're sanding, you know, down to this edge here, or close to, is you run a piece of tape here, and it'll help keep your sanding block from hitting this and scratching where you aren't planning on buffing. And when you're buffing with a buffing wheel, the side of your pad, when you're trying to buff out that area, doesn't catch this edge and burn it. What it'll do is it'll rub so hard, it'll rub the paint right off that thing. So something to be kind of careful on, kind of a little tip there. So we're gonna switch over to our wool pad and try if we can't get them 2,000 grit scratches out. That there is going to be wool padded with the 3M extra cut. You kind of still see, I don't know if my camera will pick it up, but There's some swirl marks and kind of haze. I mean, some of that's just compound, but also the wool pad itself is not going to polish super shiny. Like, it's going to leave a little bit of a haze behind, or a little bit of a, it's just so aggressive that it takes out deep scratches, but kind of leaves some little scratches behind. I'm thinking that's kind of what's going on there. You know, they call it a wool pad haze. So you could probably get different pads, but different, like, aggressive, different softer style foam pads, and I don't know about that. So this is a pad I bought off Cargo. I like it. It works pretty good. You know, then there's like these like 3M or True. So I believe this is just a little bit heavier cut, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit that door with this yellow pad, or you could do this pad. I'm gonna see if I could take out the haze that's caused by the wool pad, and then we'll swap over to a different pad. But for now, we're gonna hit it with yellow pad. So that was still the 3M extra cut 36060. I had just switched pads. Now I'll switch a pad again onto a black foam pad, which is going to be a polishing pad, which is going to be a little bit finer cut than our yellow foam pad. So I'm going to switch this over, still using this compound. So the thing I do a lot of times on these is I leave them taped up. I taped this up pretty tight all the way through here. And the reason I did that when I painted was so the air pressure doesn't blow through here and blow stuff out some of these other holes. And any of these holes blowing there or there or there. Keep overspray out from inside there and keep dust from circulating in there and blowing out one of the holes that's in the door and possibly getting into the paint job. I leave them taped up like I did there to keep that white residue and compound. And the white residue would be the clear coat that I'm wearing and on the floor. And then like here, it keeps this out of the door, which actually just keeps inside the door all black because we epoxied it, and it just makes it look more detailed, a lot finer. And same thing with here. I went ahead and left all that taped up, wet sanded it, polished it so I'm not blowing the clear coat and or the compound all over everything. Basically, we wipe it down, pull all the masking paper and plastic off, wad it up, throw it away, and actually it is really clean. So kind of like the whole bottom of here is still epoxied. And then we'll see in the last video that we didn't want to blow any of that stuff on this bed liner, because once that compound and stuff gets down there, it is very, very, very hard to clean, and sometimes you can't get it all. I've actually done that before and had to re-coat my bed liner, so that was never fun. Same thing here. We got inside here all epoxied, sealed it up the best we could, blew a bunch of epoxy in here and here and here, and back up through here. Had this thing on the rotisserie in the booth. We got up, in, and out, everywhere we possibly could do. And that's one of the biggest reasons I leave it taped up until I'm on my final wipe down. And then, you know, if we scuff it or something with a little bit of compound or something that got on there and see it scuffed it, it just takes very minimal amount of material to polish this back out. And I'm not just throwing it all over all my nice clean epoxy. Just kind of a way to keep these things detailed and looking a little bit better. So a little tip there. I'll go ahead and clean this up. Next step would be to throw the swirl mark remover on it, which is a 6068, and we're going to use a blue ultrafine pad, and that's going to hopefully take out any of the swirl marks that our last pad left with a little bit more aggressive compound. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on there and polish this bad boy out, and then take a rag, untape it, take a rag, and clean out any of our compound type stuff, and call that a wrap on that door. So with a whole lot of elbow grease, a wool pad, a couple foam pads, a couple bottles of compound, these detail rags, we've got pretty good results on our door. So this was Diamond base with a glazeret. I believe it's the 109 clear. Pretty happy with that. I think it's looking pretty good. This is just kind of how I like to buff. This is my procedures. Not saying it's not sponsored by 3M or anybody like that. Not yet, anyway. Hint, hint. But this is how I polish cars. That was just kind of a quick little video I thought I would make and see if you guys, hopefully this would help you guys out on your cutting and buffing and polishing and your paint process. So I guess next step is we'll whip the other door down tomorrow and do the same, do this all over again. Anyway, if you like these videos, this type of content, go like, subscribe, and remember, you got to create something today, even if it sucks. Peace.